Hi everyone, it is April from Getting Hooga With It. Today we're here to do my July TBR, so let's get into it. Now, a few things to chat about before we dive into the cup. Firstly, I am going to get involved with the reading rash this year. I am totally doing the reading rash. I do it every year. That is it July 20th? I can't remember the dates exactly, but I'm going to do a separate TBR for that. Some of the books that we talk about here might end up on that TBR. I don't know, but I haven't thought through all the prompts and everything, so I'm going to do a separate TBR. I also want to chat really quickly about the books that I'm reading right now. It's the end of June when I am filming this, and I'll be reading these most likely at the beginning of July. Although I'm very close to being finished, Long Bright River by Liz Moore. This is about a female police detective who is trying to find her sister who is a drug addict. And she is also a prostitute in this story, and it sounds like there is a serial killer killing off women in her neighborhood, and she's terrified that she's gonna stumble upon her sister's dead body. It's really good. It flashes back in time to her childhood with her sister and how close they were, and I really appreciate this book. The depth of character in here is something that you'd find in Karen Slaughter book, which I really appreciate. So I'm liking this a lot, and I'm eager to read her other book. In any case, so I'm reading that, and then I'm also reading Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, which is kind of ghosty. Right now, I'm only like 110 pages in, and this is about a woman who flips houses. One day she discovers that her father has left her the house that she lived in for a brief period of time when she was like 5, 20 days, because they had to leave this house because it was haunted. And her father wrote a true crime book about it. True crime? Not really. Like a nonfiction ghosty book about it. And she just doesn't believe it. She decides that she's gonna flip the house because that's kind of what she does for a living. She goes back to the house, and then eerie things start happening. I'm really liking it. Riley Sager is summer to me. I love it. So I will be reading those two books. Now on with the cup, and we need to address the cup because it's a different cup. I used to have a cup that was much more Libby-ish. It had a little dog on it. In any case, that's actually that's what I bring to work to use to like put pens and pencils in. Not that you guys need to know. All that to say, I have a new cup. It's gold. I kind of feel like it matches the vibes in here. And I'm going to go through the prompts that we have in here. I've got 12 here. I will be picking 4 prompts out of the cup and then going and finding books so I can read them throughout July. So, for the prompts, we've got seasonal read. We've got library book. Another, I hope it doesn't come up because, again, the library is closed. April pick. Favorite author. Blurbed, so a book that's blurbed by an author that I love. Most recent buy. Big book. Husband pick. Gifted. Series. Pet pick, and Libby is here so I could do that. And also most anticipated. So I'm gonna shuffle these guys up. Shuffle, shuffle. Throw them in the cup. It's time. Let's do this. April pick. Oh, well, that's nice. That'll be easy enough for me. Okay, I'm going to go to my shelves and see what I feel like reading. So I have 3 books that I would really like to read in July. First is Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women That a Movement Forgot. This is such an important book to me. I really want to read more about how to be anti-racist. Now, I am a feminist. I'm sure that you guys know that, having watched my channel for a while. I'm a feminist, and the idea of leaving behind Black feminists in the feminist movement is really upsetting to me, and I can see how that could happen, and I want to figure out how to make sure that that doesn't happen in my life, in anything that I can do to stop that from happening. Another book that I would really like to read, the next two are on my summer TBR. The first is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This I've talked about a bit on my channel, but this is about a girl in the 60s, 1969. She's known as the Marsh Girl in this small town, I believe, and she's kind of grown up on the land and really relying on herself to survive. One day, a prominent white man in this little town is killed, and everyone suspects her. There's a bit of courtroom stuff in here as well. I'm really eager to read this, and I was waiting for summer to read it. And then last is Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I've just recently started following her on Instagram, and she is just someone I admire so much for so many reasons, and I've only read her nonfiction, her short little tiny nonfiction books. So it's time, guys. And this follows two people who live in Nigeria. I believe they're in love, but I feel like I could be wrong about that. One of them moves to London, one of them moves to America. Is it New York? I don't know. It doesn't say where they move. But it's about their experience being immigrants. And I heard her reading from this book, and I was so sold. I'm just sold because it's her. In any case, I would love to read these. All right, so now we have to add another one of the prompts to the cup. Let's choose, right from the middle, reread. Okay, so that is going into the cup, and now I need to choose another prompt. Favorite author. Ooh, okay. Sorry if this moved positioning. I was rummaging around and moved a camera with my butt because that happens. Okay, I have 3 books here by 3 of my favorite authors. The first is Stacey Hall's The Familiars. I read The Lost Orphan this year and really loved it. Actually recently found another copy of this at a Value Village that looked like no one had read it, and I gave it to my mom because she also enjoys Stacey Hall's. Now, The Familiars follows a woman in the 1600s in England, and she has been trying to conceive and just struggling with multiple miscarriages, I believe. She overhears her doctor saying that her current pregnancy isn't going to last, and she reaches out to this woman who is a midwife, and this midwife says, I will help you, like you and the baby will survive if you work with me. Unfortunately, the locals start accusing this woman of witchcraft, and it's about this friendship and a pregnancy. It sounds fantastic. So I'd be happy to read that. Another author that I adore is Daphne du Maurier, and this is Jamaica Inn. This just seems like a good summer read to me. This follows a woman named Mary Yellen. She goes to visit her aunt Patience after her mom dies, and she becomes like embroiled with this group of strange people who are criminals, and she gets involved in smuggling and murder, and I don't know, but my sister read this and really liked it. So, and I love Daphne du Maurier and want to read everything she's ever written. So there's that. And then guys, I haven't picked up Nikki French in a while, and you know that they are one of my favorite authors. So this is Dark Saturday. I'm getting so close to the end of the Free to Klein series, and I don't want it to end, so I've been like reluctantly picking them up. So I'm instantly sucked in right away from every single blurb of this series. So this follows a woman who is in a mental institution. Her name is Hannah Doherty, and she was accused of killing her family when she was 18 years old. She's been in a psychiatric hospital ever since, and someone asks Frida Klein, who's a psychotherapist, to sit down and talk with this woman, and she actually thinks that she might be just as much of a victim as the rest of her family was. Sounds great. Sounds so good. Okay, so those are the 3 favorite author books that I could read. It's time to put another prompt into the cup. We'll pick this one. Out of Comfort Zone. Into the cup. And now I need to shuffle this around because it's been a while since I've shuffled in here. Okay, are we ready? Gifted! Oh, I'm so excited because you guys have sent me so many good books. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I just chose 3. I could have gone on, but I just chose 3 here. So the first is Silver Sparrow by Tayari Jones. You'll be seeing this in an upcoming haul. This was sent to me by the lovely Tashima. Thank you again so much. So first of all, I have never read a Tayari Jones. I'm not sure whether I should start with An American Marriage or this. There's also Leaving Atlanta by her that I'm super interested in. I don't know. But this book follows 2 sisters, they're teenage sisters, and their father was a bigamist. It's set in the 1980s in Atlanta, and one of the families was his like public family, and one of them was a secret family. And I guess these sisters find out about each other and get to know each other. It sounds amazing. Doesn't that sound amazing? So I could read that. I could also read What Lies Between Us by John Mars. This was sent to me by Sandy, and the story of this one gets me every single time. It follows 2 women who live in the same house together. And every night, right at bedtime, one of them, Nina, helps the other, Maggie, up the stairs and shackles her. Puts her in restraints because I guess this Maggie person has done something terrible to Nina and she has to pay. What? So there's What Lies Between Us. And then there's Kindred by Octavia Butler. This was sent to me by Louise, and I have heard so many amazing good things about Kindred. This blends sci-fi with historical fiction, and we meet a woman in the 70s, a black woman in the 70s, and she's transported over and over again back in time, and she needs to somehow save the son of a plantation owner from drowning. I don't know how if they are related or what, but their beings are linked in some way, and it sounds fantastic. I could have picked others as well, but I wanted to restrain myself considering there is also The Reading Rush. So I'll pick one of those. And now we've got to put another one into the cup. This is going to be our last pick. Oh man, okay, so I have picked out Spooky, so that'll go into the cup. And I will mix these around. And blurbed. Okay, so now I need to find books that I want to read that have been blurbed by some of my favorite authors. So let's go. Whew, okay. So I cheated a little bit. I didn't cheat. I just have 4 instead of 3. That's not cheating. I never gave myself like a cap. Okay. Number 1 is a book that I've talked about so much here. It's The Girl from Widow Hills. This is about a girl who goes sleepwalking in the middle of the night when she's very young, and she vanishes, and she's found, I don't know if it's days later, but she is found clinging to a storm drain in the middle of the night. And years later, she starts sleepwalking again, but she also feels like she's being followed. It sounds very interesting, and I've never read Megan Miranda before. This was blurbed by Kimberly McCrate. I just read A Good Marriage, and I loved it. So Kimberly McCrate said, "This is a hauntingly atmospheric and gorgeously written page-turner." Sounds good to me. That's also on my summer TBR. Another book on my summer TBR is Confessions by Kanai Minato. This is about a woman who is a teacher. She is having her last day of class with these students, and she's confronting them. They're middle grade students, and she's confronting them because her child, her daughter, died on a playground, and she believes these students had something to do with her death. It's apparently very gripping. And oh, Emily St. John Mandel on here. It says, "Superb and haunting, a novel I'll think about for a very long time." So there's that. There's also The Choice, Embrace the Possible. Oh, this has several favorites. So this is a memoir by Dr. Edith Eva Eger, and she survived a concentration camp. She was sent to Auschwitz, and just after her parents were murdered in front of her, I believe, she was asked to dance. She was forced to dance for the amusement of one of the doctors. And as her experience there, she did become a doctor, a psychiatrist, and I'm so interested in her perspective on life. This is blurred by a couple of my favorite authors. Lori Gottlieb, who wrote, where is it? Here it is. Maybe you should talk to someone. So Lori said, "A mind-blowing memoir of surviving Auschwitz. I can't imagine a more important message from modern times." And then Jeanette Walls, who wrote The Glass Castle, you know I love her. She wrote, "Dr. Edith Eva Eger is my kind of hero. She survived unspeakable horrors and brutality, but rather than let her painful past destroy her, she chose to transform it into a powerful gift, one she uses to help others heal." Yeah, I want to read that. And then last but not least is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This is by Grady Hendrix. And this is a vampire story about a woman in the early 90s, I think. She is part of a book club, a true crime book club, and one night after book club, she is walking home, I think, and she's attacked by a neighbor. But a neighbor's nephew or son, like, jumps in to rescue her, and she starts this relationship with him, and it sounds like he might be a vampire. It sounds like a lot of fun. This is my book club pick, my Patreon book club pick for the summer. So it's not too late. I'm going to vlog my way through it for my Patreons. In any case, it's blurbed on the back by Paul Tremblay, and you guys know how much I love Paul. And he wrote, "The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is funny and warm, and it's genuinely creepy and disturbing. Grady recreates a time and place without the dangerous, distortive lens of nostalgia." I'm excited. So those are all of the books that I can pick from in July. This is a lot of books, so I won't get to all of them, but it's nice to have variety, and it's nice to be able to choose and not feel too confined. That's what I love about the cup of TBR, is that it's really not confining for me, because I don't stick to rules very well. So it's time we have to add another prompt to the cup. And I've chosen newest buy. So that will go into the cup and it's ready now for August. I hope that you guys are doing really well. What are you planning on reading for July? Do you have any plans for a long weekend in Canada? It's Canada Day on Wednesday. I think this is going up on Tuesday, so it would be Canada Day tomorrow. So hopefully I'll spend some of the day chilling and reading some good books. I hope that you have some good reading plans for July. I'd love to know what they are. Again, in the description box below, you can check me out on Instagram or Goodreads. You can head on over to my Patreon page and hang out with me there. Oh, I also have my Amazon wish list linked below. That's it from me. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a lovely July. I'll talk with you soon. Bye, guys.